Pup is offshore with its mother, nursing and just hanging out. Noah tells us that mother and pup should be on the beach nursing for 30 days and not go in the water during that time. Apparently, our 006 didn't get the memo. If she did, she's not following it. Our 006, or Eve, is the matriarchal head of some 44 seals in the main Hawaiian Islands. About a mile away, we find Eve's daughter, RB16, with her 7-day-old pup. Interestingly, we find this pair manifesting the same behavior as the previous pair in that they are nursing in the water just off the beach. Here's another view of RB16 in the water. In the background is RI15 and her 21-day-old pup. It's 7:24 in the evening and our 006 and pup are sacked out on the beach. Up the coast, RB16 and her pup are sacked out on the beach. It's day 8 and Eve and her pup are just stirring on the beach. 6:27 in the morning. A few minutes later, we find Eve's daughter and her pup in the same configuration on their beach. Four and a half hours later, we find Eve and her pup are back in the water and taking it easy. Meanwhile, up the coast, Eve's daughter and her pup are getting situated to spend the afternoon in the water. A couple of things are worth noting. First is that the pup is out there nursing or trying to nurse, and this is contrary to what Noah suggests is the norm for 30 days. The second thing to note is that all water-based activity on this particular day takes place near the shoreline. It's getting late in the afternoon and we find Eve is observing her youngster. Later, they are resting side by side. On the other beach, Eve's daughter is resting with her pup. It's just about nightfall and RB16 and her pup are hauled out on the beach where they will spend the night in the background. That's RI15 and her pup in the foreground. It's 6:23 a.m. on the morning of May 19th, 2013. And Eve is being nursed by her pup. On the next beach, Eve's daughter is conversing with her son, who apparently has come back from exploring. Each day it is apparent that the pup is venturing farther away from its mother before returning. After an hour or so of the pup exploring on its own, Mom takes it down to the ocean to go for a swim. It appears that the emphasis is not on swimming, but just hanging out in the water and perhaps attempting to nurse. In the process of reviewing this second 6 days in the life of a monk seal, I have found that Mom is constantly working with the pup to teach it the ins and outs of being a seal, a sea creature. Early on, the pup wants to head back into shore, but Mom lets it know that the action is in the water with her, not on shore. Both parents seem to be manifesting the same sort of effort with regard to their pup, and that is for it to be in the water, in the now, and be a marine creature. It's 6 hours later than we last saw Eve and her pup. They're now on the beach taking it easy. On the next beach, Eve's daughter is entering the water with her pup for an afternoon of water instruction. Note that Mom and Pup are farther offshore. The pup appears to be more at ease in the water than it was just a few days ago. Back closer to shore, Mom appears to be encouraging the pup to do more with its head underwater. Looks to me like she's actually holding the pup's head under for a moment or two. Eve's daughter seems to put an emphasis on being a water creature as well. Mom comes ashore to check with the cameraman to see if he's getting all the action. She doesn't want anything to be missed. It's late afternoon, and Eve and her pup have fallen out on the beach and are positioned where they will probably spend the night. Up the coast, Eve's daughter and her pup have hauled out, where they will probably spend the night. It's the morning of day 10, and we find Eve and her pup where we left them the night before, just starting to get up. At the next beach, Eve's daughter and her pup are also beginning to rise and shine. What do you think? Doesn't it look like Mom's putting an emphasis on being in the water for the sake of being in the water? It's midday, and Eve's pup is entering and leaving the water under the watchful supervision of Mom. This is priceless. The pup is leaving the water, then turning around and entering the water, and then leaving the water, and then entering the water, practicing the ins and outs of coming in and out of the surf. Just what it needs to know to be a good surfing seal. After watching her munchkin do this routine for a number of times, Mother decides it's time to do something else and to go into the water and continue swimming lessons. Note that surf conditions are a little rougher than they have been in the past. It's not the same calm pond that it was previously. Maybe it's me, but I believe that the pup is much calmer and more able to cope with these conditions than we have seen in the past. Again, it appears to me the emphasis is not in the swimming, but rather in being in the water and just chilling out. It is mid-afternoon, and Eve's daughter is on the beach with the pup, thinking about what it wants to do for the rest of the afternoon. It's morning on day 11. It's 6:42 a.m. and we find Eve watching her pup returning from some sort of sojourn down the beach. This is another angle 20 minutes later of Mom on the beach. Mom is heading down the beach to collect her pup, who apparently has been off exploring this morning. The pup is the moving rock in the cluster of rocks in front of Mom. It's morning time on day 11, and Eve's daughter and her pup are on the beach contemplating what they're going to do for the rest of the day. Note the bleach mark 5 placed on the 7-day-old monk seal. In the next 20 days or so, the pup will shed its coat and lose the bleach mark. It will be interesting to see if the alien scent causes this mother to abandon her pup. Bleach marking is a very effective way of marking monk seals for sharks. The smell of bleach can travel for miles in the ocean. It's midday, and Eve is out with her pup in a little more active water than we've seen her with in the past. This is the logical thing to learn when you realize and remember that monk seals as adults spend very little time on shore. Another example of Eve checking with the cameraman to be sure everything's getting recorded that she wants on camera. Midday, and Eve's daughter and her pup are hauled out on the beach taking it easy. It's late in the afternoon, and Eve and her pup have hauled out close to where they usually spend the night. At her beach, Eve's daughter is hauling out with the pup, getting ready to spend the night at her traditional spot. It's morning on day 12, and it appears that Eve still wants to sleep in a little bit, but her pup is tossing around and ready for action. It's about 8 o'clock, and Eve's daughter and pup are out swimming around in the surf. There is a noticeable difference in how the pup swims, and he has no trouble keeping up with his mom. A short time later, Mom and Pup have returned to shallow water and are practicing their shallow water swimming techniques. Perhaps a more correct interpretation of events is that Mom and Pup are practicing just hanging out in the water, like a seal would do. Something to note here is that Eve's daughter and pup are working much farther offshore than they have been in the past. Again, note that the emphasis seems to be on just hanging out, offshore or inshore, wherever. It's just hanging out in the water. Meanwhile, back at East Beach, Mom prepares to spend more time with her pup in the water. As in previous days, Mom and Pup will spend most of the morning in the water. It's midday, and Eve and Pup have shifted up onto the beach to continue nursing. At the next beach, we find a young photographer walking by a nursing seal and her pup. As is the usual case, the seals don't even react. Later in the day, and we find Eve looking for her pup. She has lost sight of her pup, and she calls out for it and moves down the beach looking for it. The pup is just on the other side of that rock shelf in front of her and blocked from her view. The pup materializes and looks over the rock and tries to figure out how to get back to Mom. It's early evening and Mom and Pop settle in to spend the night in this location. It's sunset on day 12, and this concludes our observation. What you have just seen is a fairly comprehensive look at days 7 through 12 in the life of two monk seals with the same birth date. The similarity in the behavior of the two pairs was most evident and very interesting. The first few days, water behavior was near shore. Later, it shifted more offshore. The focus of both parents appeared to be to instill in the pup that it was a marine creature and that it belonged in water. Swimming skills improved dramatically over the course of this observation. Pups were observed venturing off from their mother with greater frequency and distance from same. During this time period, both pairs appeared to return and overnight at the same relative position on the beach. Special thanks to Eric K. Brown, marine ecologist, Kalaupapa National Historic Park, and James K. Walsh, PC, attorney at law, Eugene, Oregon. Until next time, peace be with you.
We're home now to 4 different species of penguins. I'm standing in front of there's called a temperate bird that's a warm weather loving penguin. Doesn't especially like the cold and snow. This bird originally hails from the west coast of Peru, lives about 7 hours by car south of Lima, and lives on just an outcropping that goes out into the ocean, and the continental shelf comes up real close to the surface there. It's very abundant in seafood, which the penguins have to survive. So we've got 11 Humboldt penguins that came to the Kansas City Zoo, and they've got an indoor-outdoor exhibit, and they're going to be in a 25,000-gallon saltwater tank. We have 3 other species that are going to be in the cold weather exhibit, and that's an all-enclosed exhibit that will be kept at 42 degrees, and that's a 100,000-gallon saltwater tank. And we've got the big king penguins that stand about 3 foot tall. We've got 6 of those that came to the zoo, and they're not the most active of the penguins. They're kind of big and regal looking and kind of walk around sort of stately and kingly, and I think that sort of is why they named them that. Then we've got a little bit smaller penguin, the Gentoo. We've got the most of those. There's 23 of those in this exhibit, and they're the most playful, just in the water all the time, swimming and jumping and porpoising, and really I think the bird that everybody will love to see because of the activity level. And then we've got these little bitty guys, probably 12 inches tall, 14 inches tall, are rock hoppers. and they're known by the little yellow feathers that come off the side of their head. And rockhoppers, because they got a little toenail on the end of their flippers, and they can actually climb up rocks, and they're kind of fun to watch. That exhibit will be kept at 42 degrees. We've got snowmaking machines, 100,000 gallons of salt water, and it should provide lots and lots of fun viewing out here at the zoo. Well, it was a great addition when we were able to bring polar bears back to the zoo a couple years ago. That made a tremendous impact on the zoo, the attendance, and kind of people's perception of the zoo. Adding this Penguin Plaza exhibit just sort of amplifies that and takes us to a whole new level. I think once people of Kansas City see this exhibit and just enjoy it and see how playful and fun the penguins are, and really the top zoos in the country, top aquariums have the big indoor cold penguin exhibits, and puts us in a class that's very unique. Very few zoos build structures like this and put the resources into this. This is kind of that luxury thing in a zoo that if you can afford it, you love to have it. A lot of zoos will just make a small outdoor exhibit because warmer weather birds are easier to get, and when you don't have to refrigerate the water, it makes it much more economical to open. So I think this will have a tremendous impact. Everybody loves penguins and polar bears and elephants. It's one of those animals that people just absolutely love to see. They come to the zoo just to see penguins, and I think once the residents of this area see this exhibit, they're just going to be blown away and realize how much this is going to mean to the zoo, to the city, and to their animal viewing, and hopefully it'll enable us to do a lot more of this sort of thing here at the zoo in the next few years. We're open 9:30 to 4 every day. We're closed Thanksgiving, New Year's, and Christmas Day, just those 3 days. Otherwise, we're going to be open 9:30 to 4. Our memberships for 2014 are on sale. If you're a Jackson County, Clay County resident, those are half price. Admission is half price. Best deal in town, always free parking. There's just always something going on out here at the zoo, and just a great place to spend a couple hours on maybe a cold winter afternoon, or as spring approaches. It's just always something going on, so come out and see us at the zoo.
It's said, I'm the one that was in Wellington, and I made it.
I don't think that's what he'd be saying.
It's like, I hope you don't expect us to start dancing and tap dancing.
You guys know Danny DeVito? Totally. I heard there's a fish lady here.
It's going, look at me, look at me.
I wonder if that's
They're coming for you. Don't move.
So I'm going to get another one. This is just so great. Cutie buns? Hello.
So you want to be in movies?
They're getting me your him. Thank you.
moment.
This is like.
I feel like
Take another one.
They're probably distracting us because two of them are going over there to pinch the hagland.
They're off. You'd be disconcerted if you see it start moving.
But you create a distraction and I'll take care of it.
One coming in from behind there, Tim.
okay, penguin ambush.
They're going to steal the hagland.
They probably know these chocolates in survival games. Someone told them.
They've done this before.
Put time to front, the rest of us run for it. Well, I know someone beside them, so beside them.
They're so going after the hagland.
Next thing to explore, isn't it?
David, I just want you to hold that for a moment. so I can
Get in
still
it.
recording,
Oh, sorry.
so I can get some still shots.
Sure.
Just point it in the general direction.
Which is the... It's zoomed in somehow.
Okay, well, the zoom is on the very top there.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
About that rule about being 10 metres away, how do we sort of... Once they surround the
If
headland.
they come
so
to
we
us,
stop
yeah.
and they approach pretty much. If they surround the headland, then you're kind of in trouble.
Might have to move on.
Look behind you guys.
Coming up. Which is the viewing area for the penguins. This is our Falklands Conservation Station, and that's one of the one of the many projects that Edinburgh Zoo is involved in out in the wild to try and help to conserve the species. And if you want to find out more about how you can help with these conservation projects, you coming to the zoo funds the projects. If you want to help out further, you can become a member of the Royal Zoological Society and also become a sponsor of any of the animals in the zoo. If you want to find out more about that, then you can find out a leaflet in any of the animal houses. You do become a member of the zoo, you can visit the zoo any day you like, and we're open 265 days a year, weather permitting unless it's extreme bad weather, but membership's a huge advantage, and within 4 visits you've actually got back your membership, so money, you get money's worth. Ora mırızı. Zaten vasılıcı.
And constant updates on what's happening within the zoo. That's all our penguins part right now. Thank you very much everybody for you being our fantastic penguin parade barrier today. If you want to join us for the talk, we're going to be doing the talk here at the end of the bridge. Join us on the bridge, mind your feet in the icy bits. Keepers will be feeding within about the next 10 to 15 minutes, starting from the other side of the bridge, working their way right around the colony, and so on. So if you want to join us for that, we'll start in just a minute or so. In the meantime, thank you very much for again being our parade barrier. Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon again everybody, welcome to our Penguin Talks. Again, my name's Barry, our keepers Lorna and Michael are just heading across to prepare the fish to come up. They should be up 10-15 minutes or so roughly, and starting from the gates and the bridge, well, on the other side of the bridge leading up there. You will notice that when the keepers come up, we do hand feed every individual penguin. We often get asked, why don't we simply scatter the feed around the enclosure, letting them help themselves? But to hand feed every individual ensures that everybody gets a fair share, including old Mr. Hippie, our oldest Gentoo, who's now 31, and he's not as quick on his feet. So if we were to scatter the food around the area, basics such as that. One thing you never want to do is ever pick up a penguin, because they don't like being touched, and they're actually quite powerful. You can see they're very, very fast in the water, very tough flippered, and they will resist any contact. So minimising any contact you have with them is very good for their welfare, really. And water just now, somebody asked us, having a silverback penguin, is that the leader of the group, which I thought was quite an unusual one? That's gorillas. With penguins, however, you do occasionally get this rare thing called leucism. And leucism is when a penguin doesn't produce the same amount of dark colour on its back, therefore producing a more silvery tone, which means that it's probably more vulnerable in the wild because its camouflage isn't as good as any other penguin. So in theory, any leucistic phase penguin, no matter what species, if they produce the lighter colour, could be easily taken by a predator in the wild. But here they discovered in the Falklands recently, they estimate that one of the gentis out there with leucism is about 16 years of age. So the fact it survived 16 years and never been eaten, possibly it's just very lucky or very fast. But